Bare Knuckle actually been trying to get me a couple of times to fight on one of their cards.
Oh, really?
But I had MMA fights booked and stuff like that. Funny thing is, like my whole MMA career, I was known as a submission fighter. The biggest thing for me, like, and the reason why I've had this low longevity and like this level of success this late in my career is consistency. I don't stop.
I think these boxers are doing them for financial gains. Because these what we chat about, YouTube boxers, I mean, they're making crazy, stupid money. Yeah.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show, your go-to for real estate, business, health, and family insight. I'm Chris Salerno, CEO of QC Capital. Each episode, we explore the latest trends and expert advice from industry leaders. Whether you're an investor, entrepreneur, or seeking balance, this show provides an inspiration you need. Join us and elevate your game on the Chris Salerno Show.
Welcome to the Chris Salerno Show. I am your host, Chris Salerno. I have Keith Richardson here, the champion of the 135 bare knuckle boxing, which I'm excited to have. We're going to dive deep into his background, being a veteran, getting in and actually holding the title, and he's set to defend his title, which I'm excited to watch. Thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. Glad to be here. Looking forward to doing this, man.
Most definitely. Local to Charlotte, which is nice. You didn't have to travel too far, but you tasted a little Charlotte traffic.
Yep, just down the street in the Rock.
There we go. So I've actually been to your facility before. Yeah, and I went in there real quick. You probably don't remember me, but to get pricing on boxing, because obviously, boxing's a great way to work out, stay fit, also protect yourself with this crazy world that we live in now. Let's talk about like your training and what you're doing to get to where you are at. Give a little background about, how'd you even get started into bare knuckle?
I got started into bare knuckle. I've been fighting professionally for about 16, 17 years.
Wow. So a while.
I've been in the game like for a long time. Traditionally I was MMA.
Okay.
I've got about 35, 36, 37 MMA fights.
Wow.
And I was just kind of I was kind of stuck in a bad position where like I was taking out, because I haven't lost a fight since 2018.
Oh, congrats.
So I was taking out like a lot of these big names, but it got to the point where a lot of the big names didn't want to fight me, but I couldn't get signed to a big promotion. I think UFC thought I was too old. Like they couldn't even use me as a gatekeeper, because if nobody can pass the gate,
really,
so I'd be taking out all their young guys, and then I don't think they expected me to be
as good as you are,
as good as I am
at your age.
This late in my career.
How old are you?
40.
Oh wow, holy shit, dude! You look good for 40.
I'm freaking ain't.
Man,
I
thought
no kids, never been married.
There you go. The marriage definitely helps. I'll tell you that. Marriage definitely helps. But 40 years old, man, I thought you're in your early 30s.
Yep. No, I'm a dinosaur for most fighters.
Wow.
But that's part of the benefit of that.
So what's the average age as a fighter? What is it? Early 30s, late 20s?
It's early to mid 30s, especially for guys my size usually.
Got it.
Like a lot of like heavyweights, light heavyweights, they can go a little further because they rely more on power.
Correct. They're not really wrestling much. Your heavyweight
and even if it is, it's more power wrestling. It's not the explosion, and that's like as you age, that's one of the first things that
goes away. You get slower and slower. Yeah.
You get that old man strength, but like the explosiveness, the speed. Usually drops off pretty.
I would never have guessed you're 40 years old. Holy cow. Well, we're going to talk about that health, because you have to stay healthy, especially at 40, because I'm 29 and I definitely seen the difference, and I ran Division I track, so I definitely see the difference in my body just from my early 20s to now. And so being 40, keeping up with individuals that are young 30s, you got to make sure you're healthy. So you got to that point, and they really said, okay, by age you're a little too old, but you're knocking all these guys out. It's a full business, which a lot of people don't see. How is that business like behind closed doors?
Oh, it's brutal. That's one of the hardest parts about fighting. Especially because it's one of those things where you're you have to grind constantly. It's a full immersion sport. Like it affects every aspect of your life, from how you eat,
everything.
Your
time,
you sleep,
your schedule.
Yeah, there's no season.
You just go.
Yeah,
go. You have to.
the season's all year.
Yeah.
You want to fight, like you don't fight, you don't eat. You know,
So you have to fight to get paid to eat, you know, and do it all over again.
so it's just like it's a brutal sport, and like, you know, like, and then it's also, especially now, like it's not like it was earlier, like, you know, just because of social media, this and that. Like you have to do your own promotion as well as, like, you know, you can't rely on the promoters to promote you. They already want a product to
100%.
sell before you even step in the door.
Yeah, and I talked about that with another bare knuckle fighter, and it's shock. You know, I understand it because it's promoting. You know, it's marketing, and you know they're gonna say, okay, Keith, you know, and this is what I heard is, hey, go ahead and post this picture and see, you know, how many engagements you get. Like, see if you get people riled up, and you can see it with look at Fury. I saw him fight. He got supposedly, obviously, you know, the media is the media, but $100 million check from that.
Yeah.
Which is wild. And now they're supposedly having a rematch for round 2. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you have to promote yourself, and I think that's what now is relying on it a lot is self-promotion.
Yeah. Like, you know, it used to be the mindset, like, oh, yeah, you just show up and put on a good fight.
A good fight, yeah.
And, like, that was all those. It's definitely not the case anymore. You don't even get the fight now if you're not bringing.
Do you think it's because of all these YouTube boxers that brought so many people to like the sport of boxing, of the audience, and now like Dana White, all these big players are like, hey, they're actually bringing in crazy amount of revenue. Let's switch our business model to start doing that.
It's definitely had an effect. Like, you know, even BKFC has done like influencer fights.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, it was Bryce Hall.
I don't know. Big YouTuber.
He went and, you know, he did a bare knuckle fight.
Really? Now, see, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Because bare knuckle, you're gonna mess your face up.
Like like most guys aren't willing to do it. So like all respect to him for like having done it and stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
But like, you know, now it's to the point where like your performance doesn't even matter as much as
how much you can promote.
Yeah.
You're a marketing tool. The more people they bring to watch you fight, the more people the more money they make, and hopefully the more money you make.
Like,
you know,
like in the past though, that, you know, that usually relied on the promoter. Like it's in the name.
Yeah, most definitely. Wow.
Now it's to the point where they want a finished product before you even walk in the door.
Really? That is wild. That is wild. And so I think that's why you're seeing a lot, and we talked about it before, like Dustin Poirier. I know I'm murdering his last name, but he's set to fight come up. Conor has a fight coming up, and they are going crazy gangbusters on marketing, but they also have other different type of products. So, you know, I guess, you know, that's another way for them to build. I mean, look at Conor. He's now part owner, which we discussed. I think that's going to bring a lot of people that wasn't looking at bare knuckle to start looking at bare knuckle just because of his name. Yeah,
it definitely adds more legitimacy. He'll be able to bring in like, you know, a ton more revenue, eyes on. Like, you know, in the end it only helps the fighters. You know,
most definitely, because the more people are going to watch you, so then more you can actually charge more in sponsorships. Yep. You know, you can say, hey, we have this sold out crowd. There's X amount. You can charge more in sponsorships now, which is great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that relationship pans out. Like, you know, he's already done a lot, and like I've heard some of the interviews and stuff like that. You know, he looks at it like he's Dana White and the Fertitta brothers, like when they purchased the UFC.
Most definitely.
Like, you know, he looks like he's getting.
It's like, at the infant stage.
Yeah,
and
where it's like. Yeah, he's already gotten it where it's on the upswing. Like right now, it's one of the fastest growing sports in the world.
Really?
Like,
I think, you know, UFC's been around so long. I mean, I remember watching it way back when Tap Out was like a sponsor. You know, I don't even know what happened to them. But I think it's definitely bare knuckles growing substantially, and I think you're right. Conor sees it on that upswing, and he wants to be a part of it. And I think he knows he can bring a lot of that growth with it too, to be another competitor. You know, kind of competitor to UFC. You know, UFC's totally different sport. You know, with MMA and boxing.
There's room at the table for both of them. Especially UFC is still like growing, you know, becoming such a behemoth, especially now with their like interaction with like WWE. And
I know, I saw
like,
that.
You know, like now they're under that big umbrella company. And
wow, interesting. So spent a lot of your time MMA. MMA is different. I wrestled in college, runner-up state champ, love wrestling, but it's totally different than boxing. your footwork's different, your movement's different. How was that transition mentally and physically, leaving MMA for you and moving over into the bare knuckle?
Yeah, it was pretty smooth for me just because one, like they had been bare knuckle had actually been trying to get me a couple of times to fight on one of their cards.
Oh, really?
But I had MMA fights booked and stuff like that. Funny thing is, like my whole MMA career, I was known as submission fighter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
was that your go-to?
Like a wrestler, and I was a state champ wrestler in high school.
Oh, I could definitely see it.
And I was known as a submission fighter most I've got
So if you got them on the
13,
ground,
14, but when you watch a lot of my fights, like my striking actually made them grab a hold of me,
and then
everybody
game
knew,
over.
don't grab a hold of the guy. Like he
knows how to wrestle.
He's gonna throw you down, and
once
he's
you're on the
gonna
ground,
tap you out.
You're done.
But they always got uncomfortable with the on the feet and wound up
that's good for you. You got that strategy.
But as I was making the transition, it was kind of easy because I'd already started training people for bare knuckle. I was training Taylor at the time. I saw the potential and I saw what they were doing. It was big, so I was like.
So you were training them before you even said, "Okay, I'm gonna test the waters and see how it goes." Really?
But and that's the thing. I'm coaching so many people in so many different things. I teach kickboxing.
Because you have a wonderful facility going on there. I went in, looked at it, and you have all different levels too that you're training, which is wild.
Yeah. So I'm always switching up, and I've got to be so versatile. So it was the transition was probably a lot easier for me than other people. And the transition in the training was nice because it's so much less the fights are intense and they do some serious damage. But the training camps were a lot easier on the body just when you're not having to wrestle and grapple as much. That's what takes a big toll on your body as far as wear and tear and stuff like that.
Yeah, we discussed.
Slammed down, dropped on your head, people cranking on your neck.
And as you get older in age, it definitely takes a toll.
You feel
You're feeling it
more and more.
You got to take those ice baths, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep, cryosauna, ice baths, massages.
You got to preserve your body.
Yeah, I've got a whole recovery routine now.
I love that. Let's talk about and I want to talk about the bare knuckle because let's talk about bare knuckle. You don't have gloves on. You have your wrist taped for I assume strength. Your knuckles have to, you have to train.
Yeah, expose,
right up until the back.
Right up before the knuckles.
Yeah.
The wraps stop right there, right before the knuckles.
And so you're going to have to train your knuckles. You're having to punch. Are you punching wood or something to be in comparison? Because I feel like it'd be very difficult if I was in MMA or boxing with gloves on, and then I said, okay, I'm going to go to bare knuckle. My knuckles are not going to be able to handle it. Yeah. You're going to have to build that strength up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People think that gloves are for the people getting hit.
Yeah,
no,
it's
for the person punching.
Yeah,
great example is when Taylor had her first bare knuckle fight. We didn't really have a ton of time. It was kind of a short notice fight.
Okay, so she took it on the whim.
It was I think we had 2 or 3 weeks. To really prepare. Mm-hmm. I told her even beforehand, because that was one of the things that I was like, we're not really going to have time to condition your knuckles properly, especially if we do that, and they getting busted open, you're not going to be able to train properly. So we're going to focus on the training, and you're just going to have to gut it out this first fight.
Oof, that's got to be tough.
And about second, third round,
she was feeling it.
Her hands were swollen, she couldn't make a
just
fit.
even, yeah.
Especially because it was her first fight was such a damn war, and it was it was an epic fight.
Is that where that meme of the face?
that's
we're gonna post that.
One.
That's everywhere.
Yeah, that is all over the place. And it comes back around every year.
Oh my god!
Right now, I think the P. Diddy version is the big one.
I sent it to her, and I was like, "Sorry, but this is funny."
That's the thing. She gets the thing sent to her 5 times a day.
Sure.
Now.
That's funny. So preparing your knuckles. I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of strategies. What do you guys do to prepare your knuckles for fights?
Yeah, when you go to the gym, we have a couple of boards set up there, wooden boards with kind of these slats shaved into them, and it's got a thin leather pad on it. So you just rounds and rounds of just hitting that.
That really has to build your knuckles up.
And it just kind of prepares them. that, like hitting the bag, bare knuckle, like, working mitts and bare knuckle. But you can't really, like, the one issue is you can't really spar bare knuckle.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun.
Like, and even, like, generally we use, like, more often than not, we're using boxing gloves. Sometimes we're using the MMA striking gloves.
Yeah. Interesting. So let's talk about recovery, like recovery on your knuckles. What are you doing to recover?
Ice, like, if there is any, like, damage and stuff like that, like, I've been pretty lucky, most of my fights, like, my first fight with them was an epic war, it was fight of the year.
Love that.
But then
you brawl too. I've watched a couple of them. I think that's what I like about you is you're just in it and you're just brawling. Like it's this full brawl. Let's go. Stop dancing around. Like let's just go after it.
I'll put it this way. I hunt. All right.
I love it.
Like, I strategically,
you have to have a system.
Yeah. I strategically, like, one, I'm, like, I think I have some of the best footwork in the organization because I'm able to switch stances so fluidly without any, like, without getting wild or, like, everything's tight, but I'm definitely pressuring, walking you down and beating you up.
I love
like
that.
My first fight was, like, an epic war, but then 2 first-round knockouts, and then even when I won the title, I won a second-round knockout.
Wow.
So, like,
love it.
So I've mitigated a lot of the damage since that first fight. But that first fight, like, we beat the crap out of each other, and, like, it was a bloody war.
You made a statement for yourself.
Yeah, and, like, that was great because it also, like, got me accustomed to bare knuckle at its grittiest and worst.
Oh, 100%. And now you know how
scars from it. Like,
really, now you know how to move while you're in there. You've been through the trenches.
Oh yeah,
I love it. Let's talk about your health. Again, I'm shocked you're 40 years old. You look phenomenal, man. As 40 years old, you got to make sure your health's up to date. You can't be eating fast food, fried food. You got to watch what you eat. What do you do on a daily basis to really watch your intake, things like that?
The biggest thing for me, like, and the reason why I've had this low longevity and, like, this level of success this late in my career is consistency. I don't stop.
I love that.
Like, there are a lot of guys that, like, like, after a fight, like, because a fight camp is...
They'll go pig out or something.
Fight camp is, like,
it's brutal.
Like, it's brutal. Like, it, like, it affects every aspect of your life. You get moody, you get tired.
It's like the Navy SEALs, basically.
Yeah, or the Marine Corps.
Marine. There we go. And we'll touch on that.
But like, so, like, most guys, like, they need a break after it and stuff like that. But they take time off. Like, they go on vacations and stuff like that. For me, I don't do that.
You can't because you are also operating a business.
It doesn't matter if I win, lose, or draw. The next day I go train. Even if I'm out of town, like, I'll go to the gym.
A local gym and boom.
Yeah, I'll go to the gym in the hotel. Like, it's usually not going to be
it's not nice.
Especially depending on the fight. Like, it's not going to be a great workout.
Yeah.
Like, but it's just resetting my mind. Plus, like, like my fight camp workload and my normal workload doesn't really change a ton. Because I own the gym, so I've got to train myself.
Correct,
I got to train my.
You got to run a business too.
Like, and I'm not one of those coaches that, like, I'm gonna be sitting there standing around with my arms.
You're
folded.
actually engaging.
Yeah, like, I'm doing everything that they're doing.
I love
harder, faster. Like,
you're leading by a leader.
I'm leading from the front.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, I don't. Generally, I don't take vacation.
I don't
think I've ever taken a vacation, really, like a real vacation.
You love what you do.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you don't care to take a vacation. Like, I don't care to take a vacation because I enjoy what I do. I have a passion for it.
Yeah.
You are passionate about what you do, and the team laughs. The team gets on me sometimes because we'll close a deal and they're like, "Are you wanting to celebrate?" I'm like, "I'm ready to go to the next one." Yeah. Like, good job. Let's clap hands. On to the next. And it sounds like you have that mentality, just like Kobe did. When it comes to the NBA, you have that mentality of, okay, great, it's accomplished, on to the next.
Yeah, and especially I know, like, at my age, if I take my foot off the gas, I'm never going to get back to where I was.
So you can't take it off the gas.
Yeah.
You have to keep pushing.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing you said is consistency.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of people lack. Like you said, they'll win a fight, they'll take a week off, go on vacation or party, and that's the issue, is that they don't have that consistency in their mind to become a high-level fighter like you are. That's wild. Wild. So that health, what are you putting into your system food-wise, things like that, to make sure, you said you do cryotherapy, ice baths. What are you putting into your system to make sure you're as fit as you are?
Generally, like, once again, like consistency in diet, like, I don't have to go on like my weight cut's hard because, like, I walk around about 155 pounds.
Oh,
and
dang, no way.
And that's shredded and lean.
So you're cutting 20 pounds.
Yeah, like, so
That's
like,
a lot.
So it's so that's like the biggest change in my weight in my fight camp. Is dieting myself down, getting it to where I can do it comfortably without like
losing muscle or anything getting weak.
I'm going to lose, like, I'm going to lose a little bit of muscle. I'm going to use
but you still want your strength.
Yeah.
And your power too.
Yeah, like, I'll gain some speed, but, like, I'll keep my my power. Maybe I'll lose a little bit of the raw strength just because, like, when you're losing that type of weight.
That's a lot of weight, 20 pounds. I mean, I try to lose my 2 pounds of my pizza I ate.
Yeah, but, like, like, also, like, a big portion of it's the water cut too.
Yeah. Well, that's a huge portion. Yeah. Wow.
So, like, I'm really only getting down to 135 for 2 hours,
which is
like,
wild.
When I time my weight cut properly, I'm cutting it down, like, losing it for about 2 hours, and then I start the rehydration process, and then I'm back up to 100
And people don't realize that you go through so much of training. And like you said, there's no seasons in this sport. So you're going through so much of training just for a couple hours to fight. And then right after that, you got to go back at it.
Sometimes 30 seconds.
So if you get knocked out first round, sometimes it's 30 seconds. You walk in there, knock them out, boom, you're done. Keep going.
But they don't pay me by the hour, thank God.
Thank God they don't, right? Wow, that's wild. Let's talk about mindset. You touched on it a little bit about having that unstoppable mindset like Kobe does, where you will finish a fight, finish camp, and you are already turned on. You're ready to go. You're ready to push your body to the max. How did you cultivate that throughout the years?
Two biggest influences when it comes to that. One is my dad. He was the hardest worker I've ever seen in my life. Like,
I love that.
By far. Like, his basic philosophy was, like, if there's work to do, do it.
Get it done.
If there's no work to do, find some work to do.
Yeah, and don't complain about it. Just get it done.
Yeah, like, he was that old school.
I love that.
Hard nosed. Like,
that's what society's missing these days. Society's missing those fathers that are in these children's life. That's like, no matter what, you got to still wake up and you got to get it done.
Yep. He set the tone for me. Like,
I love that.
And I'll never be half the man he was.
Love that.
So
he instilled that mindset of, look, whether you want to do it or not, you get up and go do it.
Yeah. You give your word, you do it. You set your mind to something, you do it.
Love that.
That's why, because my first bare knuckle fight, I lost him about a week and a half before the fight.
Okay. Oh, damn, man.
So, in camp, I was taking care of him.
Yeah.
I was staying at my parents' house, taking care of him,
training,
go straight from the gym and stuff like that. That was also part of what kept me sane.
Yeah.
He refused to let me, he's like, yeah, you're not pulling out of the fight. Just
really.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
So he definitely set that tone, and also just the Marine Corps, especially when we're...
Thank you for your service, by the way. You guys don't get enough praise of it, especially during this government era with what's going on. You guys definitely don't get enough praise of it, keeping us safe over here where you can fight professionally. We can, buy real estate and not worry about being bombed or anything like that. It's all for you guys, so I appreciate your service.
No problem. That mindset, especially when I was in infantry. I was in the infantry. Trigger pullers, especially when we go over there, we're day on, stay on, pretty much.
Really?
We're not really getting days off. Occasionally they'll.
Are you in battle when you were over there?
Yeah, seen more than my fair share of combat. I was in Fallujah and Ramadi.
Really? Are you good to talk about a little bit of it?
Yeah.
Talk to us about that mindset, because it's very difficult. A lot of individuals that serve the military come out, and that mindset is super important. Talk to us about that mindset, and overcoming, those thoughts and processes, and do they still come up today?
Yeah, like, which one, like, like that's also how I got into the sport. Like, I got into MMA to deal with PTSD. 'Cause when I first got out, wasn't doing great.
Yeah.
Because not only was I in one of the worst, like, war zones,
In the
imaginable, like, especially when I went, so I extended to finish my last pump with my guys.
Okay.
Like, I didn't want to go home early when they're still out there, stuff like that. So, like, as soon as I got back from my last tour, I was out and in the civilian world. So it was
They just, boom, here, you're in the world.
pretty much
Are you kidding me?
like, like it's just like sticking a rabid dog like, in a hen house. Like, it just, so I was having like a lot of trouble adjusting. Plus, like, when everything works out, firefights are kind of fun. Like, that's one of the things that they don't really, like. It's very
different.
very similar to like an MMA fight or a bare knuckle fight. Where like, especially because you're because like you thrive on adrenaline. Like,
Oh, and the adrenaline is so high.
like in a gunfight, like, like half the time, like you're wholly aware but unaware of what's going on. Like, that's why, like, a lot of war movies like play things back in like flashback, because you're operating at such an intense level that your mind can't process all that input.
Yeah.
But like, it knows what's happening. The training kicks in, like, and you're operating at such a high level. And then, like, when you finally, like, after like after the firefight's done and like the patrol's over and you get to go back, and then like everything
Then
starts, playing back. Like,
And
you're
recognizing everything.
Be out there smoking a cigarette in the smoke pit and just like, oh yeah, that happened. Yeah, I can do that. And then you guys start like, then you kind of debrief and you guys start like, oh yeah, and then you did that and I did that.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Wow.
Like, so it takes like,
It's happening so fast that it's just like clips flying, and then all of a sudden you guys start to debrief, and you're like, oh, that.
and then the more like you get accustomed to it, the more you're able to ride the wave of that adrenaline and focus even more clearly. Like, and so you
Through
get used to it.
experience. I mean, you've experienced it, so it's like, okay, now you know how to control it a little bit, and get that understanding. And when you're in that high intensity, high environment with that adrenaline running, I would like to say with that experience, you can control it. And I think that's what separates MMA, really good MMA fighters. You can look at a fight and be like, he's calm, he's collective.
Yeah.
He knows how to work that ring. He knows how to work the moves because he's calm.
Yeah, cool. Like, the term I usually use with all my fighters, cool, calm, collected killer out there.
I love that.
Like, you're out there hunting.
100%.
Like,
And you can use that in any different type of industry too. And you should be cool, calm, and you should go out there and hunt, because if you don't hunt for your fair share, someone else will. That's the way life is.
You eat what you kill.
That's right. And that's the best thing to do. Love that. So again, thank you for your service. I mean, seeing all that and going through all that, I mean, just is remarkable. And then so after that, you're coming out, getting into MMA straight on, and then spending the years in MMA, and then you started getting that hint of bare knuckle by training, some of your people, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm gonna dive into this and take this fight. And so you took a fight, and then how did it snowball to now becoming the champion?
Yeah, like, I knew, I saw like a lot of potential in there, like, because like it's still in the early stages. So like, especially somebody with my credentials, I can move up the ladder relatively quickly. Like, my first fight was a huge fight. It was me and Justin Scoggins, like former like top 10 in the UFC.
Really?
At flyweight.
Are you seeing a lot of UFC people hop over to bare knuckle? I think you're going to see a lot with Connor, being involved.
You see even more. Plus, it's actually been kind of crazy because Dana White's actually been good about like releasing guys from their contracts to fight.
To come.
Yeah,
That's
like
nice.
especially he's got like a good relationship with
That's good.
with David Feldman, the president of.
So it's nice and
PTSD.
cordial. So
because it's a lot worse if you're on his bad side, as a lot of organizations have seen.
Oh, most definitely. He has a lot of pull.
Yeah, he's a ruthless businessman,
and you have to be, and I follow him, and I love what he does. I love what he does with Trump. You have to be.
And that's like, that's why the UFC is with
what
the
it
UFC.
is. Yeah. And that's why Dubai, that's why all these large countries are like, we want you over here. Yeah. And he's built a phenomenal organization, where he's able to attract so many people with sponsorships with, and give these opportunities to fighters, because fighting, and from what I've heard and experienced very very closely with fighters is, a lot of them don't come from good backgrounds. A lot of them are not coming from rich backgrounds where mom and dad has money. They're coming from, middle to lower class, and they want to prove themselves, and they enjoy the sport. And those are majority from what I've seen, fighters.
Yeah. And that's also part of the problem. Like, fighters are their own worst enemy, like, because we're our own worst advocate. Because, like, it's not something that generally, like, the people that do it get involved for financial gain. Like,
yeah,
like that's not why they start. That's not why they start fighting. Like,
no,
like they would be doing it in a rundown shack in a basement somewhere, just because, like, they got something that they've got to get out of their system.
Most definitely.
And that's a lot of them. Like,
I think these boxers are doing them for financial gains. Because these what we chat about, YouTube boxers, I mean, they're making crazy stupid money.
Yeah.
And I see all the time that people are hating on UFC of, oh, these fighters made X amount. Look, you don't know the whole story. You don't know everything that goes into the back of it and things like that. A lot of that, I would assume is private. But why don't, they should see it on a positive aspect. I mean, look what Connor did. He grew a big organization. Peoria with his hot sauce. They all are growing businesses from the extension of what Dana White was able to offer.
Yeah. Not only that, like, like, people also have to take into account that, like, UFC is making an organization.
Correct.
Like, boxing promoters, like, there's no performance institute. There's no, like, retirement plan, health care.
There's nothing.
And only, like, a select few at the top are making any money.
Oh, yeah.
Most of UFC, the money's a little spread out. Does it need to be more? Absolutely. Like,
yeah, most definitely. Some of the numbers look low, but again, I don't know the full business behind that, so I can justify it. From what I've looked at, some of the numbers look low, but hey, at the end of the day, it is a business, and if they use that opportunity to create a brand, to create something, they can grow a very large business like Connor. Yeah. And I remember watching, Connor was talking to Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it was like during an ultimate, that challenge they do. And he said, I'm going to be the richest athlete in the world. Yeah. And Christian laughed. And I didn't like that Christian laughed at him. But Connor had that mindset. And look what happened. He became one of the richest athletes in the world. Oh, yeah. And that was just that was something what he built from UFC, which is great. Wild. Talk to us about, that mindset and that feeling when you were walking down to the cage to win the championship.
There's always, like,
the little butterflies.
There's always, like, it's more like
excited,
performance anxiety. Like if there's any, like, nerves, it's just I want to have the best performance possible.
Yeah. You want to make sure you leave it all out.
For me, like, it's funny because I always have, like, I'm very I tend to be very cool and calm, like, relaxed, like, just shooting the shit, having fun, like, like, and I always have the same thought, like, right before I
Can you share it?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm about to fight another grown man in my underwear in front of thousands of people. This is the dumbest way to make a living I could possibly think of. And then, like, they're like, all right,
let's go.
Red corner, you're going. And I'm like, all right, let's go.
Gotta go.
And then, like, I just laugh and just start heading out there. Like, but it's, like, it's just, like, you got to find, like, things, like, to try to keep, like I said, like, it's riding that wave of adrenaline. If you can control it, it's great, because, like, that will help you build consistency in the way you fight.
Yeah.
Like, you see guys that are emotional and stuff like that. Like, you can't rely on that emotion for a whole fight. Like, especially a 5-round title fight in MMA that's a half an hour fist fight.
And people don't realize when you're locked in that cage, because I remember when I wrestled, and when you are wrestling, that's a workout. And those 3 minutes feel like 30 minutes. Yeah. And when you are locked in a cage with another person on the other side that wants to kill you, it feels like it is hours, hours upon hours. Yep. And people don't realize that.
Theory of relativity, like, like, if you're the guy on the bottom, it's going to feel like hours. If you're the guy on top, it's going to feel real short.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Let's talk about the that feeling and excitement after you won.
It's one of the most, like, addicting things, but it also, like any addiction,
it's like a drug.
Yeah, like, but the high, like, goes away like so much, like quicker
Very
and quicker
quick.
every time. And then you're like, all right, well, let's
Yep.
set up the next fight.
Yep,
Like,
let's just do it.
but like, and it really depends on like, it always depends on like the greatest like feelings after a fight. One are after like a tough camp, and then a tough fight where like the more
harder
you
trained
suffer
and-
through it,
Yeah.
the more like
That more
like you're
rewarding
like,
it
yeah,
is.
like it's like you're stacking joy. But here's the thing, like, you know, it's not even guaranteed. Like, you know, you're pouring all that stuff,
Correct.
like for this one moment,
Just
and
one
someti-
short period.
and sometimes that moment doesn't even come. Like, and instead, like, you know, it's the worst feeling because it sucks to lose a fight.
Oh, I believe it.
Like, it's like
Mentally,
embarrass-
too.
especially in front of, like, you know,
How
front
do
of the world, and like, you know, like to get highlight reeled, like
Oh, social media, especially
Oh,
if
yeah,
you get knocked out. I mean, you know, look at Taylor's memes going everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, still.
Yeah, and like she won that fight too.
She
Like, and that's
she
that's
looked
the
like
thing.
that. Like, it's wild. You
So
know.
like, but like especially I remember like, you know, how I still can't even watch after I won the title.
Really?
Like I can watch the fight like all day.
So you
But
can
after I won the title, like I was just so emotional, like because it had been such a rough year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I lost
Everything
my
was
father. Like I dedicated like because I went from debut to champ in 10 months.
I hope you're enjoying today's episode. Just a quick reminder to make sure you never miss an episode. Stay connected with us by following us on social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok at Chris_Salerno_. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube to catch the video versions of our episode. You'll get exclusive content, behind the scenes footage, and much more. Head over to YouTube, Chris_Salerno now, and hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned because we've got more great content coming right after this.
That doesn't really happen.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a
like
short
four,
time.
like 4 bare knuckle fights in a year usually doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, you
normally you have what? Like one fight a year, 2 if you're lucky.
Two to three, like, you know, like the average. Like very rarely do you see 4 in a
But
year.
you came in and said, look, let's go.
Yeah, like, you know, I was like,
You're gonna
like,
take it all.
Especially that first fight was like I said, it was such a brawl, like such a and like just everything that was leading up to it. Like, you know, like heck, I just remember like after the fight was over, like we were in the stitch room, like, you know, because there's always
You got
cuts.
stitches.
Like, yo, my face was ripped open.
Right
like
here?
his nose was on the other side of his face. Like, and I just remember just bawling in the cut room.
Really?
Like, just bawling like a baby. Like, you know, because it was just, I had brought everything in and just got to empty it out into that fight. Like, it was the perfect fight at the perfect time.
Yeah, you just
like,
emptied it all.
honestly, if I would have went in there and, like, you know, knocked him out in 30 seconds, it wouldn't have gotten everything out. And I would have been, like, I would have been crazy. And there's just, like, at the end, like, after, like, you know, that fight, like, I just got to empty everything, put everything.
Everything.
Every
You left it all on the table.
Every emotion into the fight. Like, you know, and we both did. Like, you know, me and Scott can still talk to each other all the time.
Oh, do you? That's
like, when
good.
I was friends with him and his family before we even fought.
Oh, really?
Like, you know, it was a very big like regional, like, you know, we were two of like the top dogs in the South.
Oh, wow.
For so long, and we were supposed to fight like 3 times before that.
No way.
Like, it was supposed to be like there were supposed to be MMA fights.
Yeah.
And then like we wound up just doing it in bare knuckle, where and everybody was like, because he was known as a striker.
Got it.
And everybody knew me as a grappler.
Yep.
So like they're like, all right, well, why is Keith doing this? Like, why are they finally doing
totally
that? Like,
opposite?
why are they finally doing this? Like, too, as in bare knuckle, like,
Yeah.
Keith gone crazy. Like, no,
That's
like,
wild.
I know what I'm capable of. I know, but like, you know, but being able to just empty all the emotions into that fight, like, you know, and then the same thing, like as soon as the Barnett fight is over, when because I know who I'm looking for in the crowd,
100%.
stuff like that, and just the emotions and just
The team, whole environment.
the whole Modern Warrior family, because I got to do it in Colombia,
which is home.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
just
South
an hour
Carolina.
away,
Yeah,
like,
not
you know,
far.
so
So,
I was-
everyone
yeah.
can travel there.
So everybody was there, but the one person that I really wanted, because my dad was there when I won my state title. As soon as I was off the mat, like I ran into the stands and like that was the first person.
He was there with you.
Like he was definitely there, and he was the reason behind it.
He
but
knew
I
it.
wish, I wish he like
could be physically
Yeah.
there. Yeah, no, but he was definitely looking down, definitely. But you left it all out on the table, and that's what you need to do, with those type of events and those type of fights. Yeah. So coming up, you got a big one.
Yep.
How you feel coming into it?
Great. Like, it's a chance for me to like how you have to defend it, like to really own it.
Correct.
Like,
Yeah, you can't just win it and not defend it. Like I think that's in UFC and any type of physical martial arts or any physical fight like that, you have to defend it a couple times so people are like, okay, he's actually the champ. He won it and he can defend it.
Because that's the test. Like it's harder. It's easier to get and it's harder to hold.
Oh, most definitely.
Like especially like because all you have to do is look up when you're crawling up that mountain.
Oh yeah.
Like there's one direction that you're wanting to go. As
Yep.
soon as you get on top of that mountain, now you got to look around because everybody's coming after you.
Yep.
Like since I won it, I get people calling me out
all that.
in different languages.
And you're like,
I gotta
let me
break
translate.
I got to break out Google Translate to find out what crap they're talking about me. So it's but that's fun too. But it definitely is takes a different drive to hold on to it.
Oh, most definitely.
And I'm that's why I'm in this to challenge myself.
People at Modern Warrior see you as a leader, and you lead by example because you're out there on the mats, you're training them. How do you think they see that? Like, how do you feel about that? Knowing that you're going to go out there, defend a title, you're going to win, and then you're going to come back, you're going to train the next day, and people are there training right next to you. The impact that you're making on everyone's life there.
They're screwed. I don't give them any.
You don't give them any leeway.
I don't give them any opportunity for excuses. I remember
But there's no opportunity for excuses if the leader goes out, fights, wins, comes back the next day. Like you're leading by example, and they're like, okay, well, we got to compete with that. We got to make our body do the same thing.
Exactly. Because I remember after the Scoggins fight, I as soon as I got off the cage, I was like, you guys have no excuses anymore.
Yeah.
Look at my face, look at what I did,
and you're back. And
this was a week and a half after I lost my father.
You got to keep going.
Give me an excuse why you don't want to come to the gym tomorrow.
It's not good enough.
So I don't get but they're always chasing after me anyway. Everybody wants to be the one to beat up on coach, and everybody wants.
Oh yeah.
We've got that great mindset, but and just having. We're a lot closer than most gyms, I think.
I mean, if you guys haven't followed him on social media, follow you on social media, and we'll make sure it's down there. But I follow you on social media, and I mean, you guys are a family. Yeah. Literally, all the pictures you guys are posting together, you guys are a family at the end of the day. The support is unreal in that gym.
Yeah, when you look at my Instagram, it's not all just me. It's
100%. It's you as a team.
Yeah.
And that speaks volume right there.
Yeah, so but they've got it rough.
Yeah. I bet.
Because when your coach is doing that, you can't really say much.
No, I agree. So growing up, really in the MMA, who was that person that you really took a light to in mixed martial arts or boxing? Who you said, okay, that is my role model, my influencer when it comes to it. When
I got into it, the sport was really just coming into the modern MMA era.
Got it.
Because I think when I first started training and fighting and stuff like that, it was right around what actually motivated me to get in the gym and train was the first season of The Ultimate Fighter.
No way, really?
Yeah, the fight with Forrest Griffin and Stephen Bonner.
Yeah.
I'd been aware of UFC since UFC 1 and stuff like that. I remember going to Blockbuster Video.
I miss Blockbuster. Get the little popcorn.
That was a place to go on
Get
Friday
your candy.
night.
100%.
Keep harassing the people there, seeing if whatever you wanted was.
Oh yeah.
If somebody had dropped it off yet.
Yep, I remember that. Damn, Blockbuster.
That was
That's what you did on a Friday.
Yeah.
You went down to Blockbuster. You got popcorn, candy, and then you picked out the movie. You get your DVD and you go back.
Yeah, that was so I remember my dad let me get it the early ones at Blockbuster like UFC 1, UFC 2, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So, but like I wasn't like fully into it. But
You
I
were
wanted,
interested in it.
Yeah, like
You
I was
wanted to
interested.
see what
Like
it was.
I was cool. Like I kind of followed it loosely. But I was actually I was a big hockey player at the time.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Hockey.
hockey
Okay.
player and wrestler.
There you go.
I was growing up in New York. Like I grew up in New York and moved down south.
I mean, if you can fight on ice, I mean,
oh yeah,
you can fight in the ring.
oh yeah, like heck, now they even have an organization where they it's called Ice Wars.
No, wait.
Where they do like it's kind of it's almost like bare knuckle boxing
But on ice.
on skates.
I've never heard of that. Are you serious?
Yep. The guy that's not. Have you ever seen the documentary on the Thrashers?
No, I haven't.
Trashers.
No.
It's if you get a chance,
I'll watch it.
one
I'll
of
watch
those Untold on Netflix.
Okay, yeah, I've watched some of the. Yeah, I know that.
His dad was actually the guy that they based the Sopranos on.
Oh no way!
Like he bought a minor league hockey team for his 17-year-old son and was having him run it.
What?
Like
That's
crazy,
wild.
It's a crazy story. Like check it out. Like
I'll definitely have to check that out.
But and then like his dad wound up getting raided. They wound up like taking the team from him. But it was crazy because they were killing it. Like
really?
It was like the 17-year-old son, like because his favorite things were hockey and WWE,
and he combined it.
Yeah,
basically.
and but his dad was like paying players under the table and stuff like that. Like it's a crazy.
So
story.
they have
But
like a small rink, and they go at it.
Yeah, so now he's an adult, and like he started up this like organization where they do like MMA fights on skates.
What? I think that's gonna. I mean, look at Dana. He's doing slap. That slap where everyone like slap each other, and that's grown substantially. So I think anything that is entertaining to people these days.
That one I don't really get. I'll watch like some of the highlights of it.
I'll watch the highlights.
I think that's what everybody like.
That knockout.
It makes for good like
Slow-mo
Instagram clips.
And 100%.
Like I don't know anybody I don't know anybody that like watches like the whole events.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And
I don't care to go to.
And here's the thing: no man is slapping me in the face.
Yeah, that's
and not getting punched.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that one. I mean, I'll watch the highlights from when Dana posted or something like that. But other than that, yeah. But fighting on ice, wow.
That's why hockey players are one of the toughest athletes.
Oh, they're tough. They're very tough.
Like
you going out there and brawling.
Yeah, they're doing bare knuckle boxing on ice like multiple times a week.
That's unbelievable.
That kid Rempe.
Yeah.
That New York Ranger.
They just had that. It was something big happened, didn't they?
I know. He was just the new kid in town, and that kid just
went out and
since
brawl.
day one and just started like picking guys off and just amping up.
He made a statement. He said, "I'm here,"
and he became like Instagram gold for the New York Rangers, and then now everybody's coming after him now.
Really? They're coming into the championship, I think, right?
Yeah, it's the Eastern Conference Finals right now.
Oh wow.
Rangers are down 3-2 right now though.
We'll see who comes on top. That's wild. What's in the future for Keith?
Big things big things are coming for the gym, especially with the up and coming group of fighters I got in there right now. They're going to be the future eventually.
You enjoy training them?
I get more joy and excitement, and
seeing
I get
them
way
win.
more nervous when they fight too.
Do you?
Because I got very little control. Especially
none.
I can yell things out, but if they're gonna do it,
good luck.
I could talk to them in the corner, but they're in there, and I know the work that they put in there. I know what it feels like when they fail. And I take it just as seriously as they do when it really hurts me. But it's also part of the process.
It is.
One of the big things I tell those guys is I don't want undefeated amateur fighters.
No,
especially with the way that the business model is now. You don't really get to have the pro career you used to.
They don't understand when you lose how to come back from it.
Yeah, I've got to see that before you're ready to go.
You got to see how strong they are mentally.
I don't want to see it as a pro.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You got to see how strong they are mentally to come back from setbacks.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, even in business too. In business, I've had tons of setbacks. And you have to be mentally strong to power through those type of setbacks. If you're not, look, I'm sorry. Life, it is what it is. You know, you got to go do something else.
Failure is a big part of greatness.
100%. I love that. Failure is a big part of greatness. No, you're spot on with it.
Especially like in combat sports, almost everything you learn is through failure. Like when you first start grappling, or like every submission is a lesson. Like,
Yeah.
all right, what did you do to me there? And then you just break down the last couple of things. Like when
I remember when I wrestled, I'm like, can we do that again? Like, do that again. I want to see
like
where your hand.
show me how you beat me up.
I want to see where your hand went.
It's even
and
the same with
everything.
striking. Every time you get clipped with a shot, like, oh yeah,
Right, let's take that
I should
back.
probably keep that hand up. Or I'm like, every time I throw my jab, I'm dropping my rear hand, stuff like that. Like, most of it's learned through failure, and it's like sometimes because most people aren't going to learn the lesson from a victory.
No.
Just like, all right, yeah, I won, so I did everything right.
You don't learn lessons from victories. I don't think so. I think you learn all your lessons from your failures. And a lot of people are scared to fail, both in business and the real world, no matter what. But you don't learn lessons through success. You learn lessons through failing, and then that mental to come back and win.
Yeah, the only thing you get from success is affirmation.
Yeah. No, that's it. And you're right, because when you win, you're like, oh, I did everything right. And it's like, no, you didn't. Let's go back and watch film.
And even when we do, it's not going to sink in.
Yeah.
But then watch what happens when they lose.
Oh, they're going to be in front of the TV watching every single step, move, everything.
If they're the right type of fighter, they definitely are.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Like I said though, like sometimes it's rough to hit play on that video.
Yeah.
Like the last thing you want to see is you getting
beaten,
you just
knocked out,
getting murked.
Oh yeah.
But
you have to.
But you have to. Like,
yeah.
But those, like, hell, I don't remember 95% of my victories, and I remember every loss.
Yeah. But I bet you remember them very well too. You know everything you did probably.
And if I don't, it's because I was a little concussed.
Yeah, because you got knocked out.
But I remember watching the video for the first time.
Oh yeah. No, I think it's important, even in business. Like every time we close a deal, we huddle back up and we're like, okay, what could we have done better? No. You know, what can we have done to tweak to make sure this system's right? And I tell people in the private equity space, you know, we're dealing with millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're getting placed everywhere. It's the Hunger Games. No. And that's some advice I give to kids that are coming out of college where they think they're just going to come out and dance on a little, you know, unicorn and go get a job. It's like, no, the real world's a Hunger Games. You're going to get called every single name in the book, whether you win or you lose. And that's a big thing too, is like, even if you win or you lose, people are going to hate you just because they hate you.
Yeah.
You know, like just because, you know, you're a champion, they're going to hate on you no matter what. And you have to have that mental mindset. And how do you have that mental mindset to really take away those haters especially with social media? Because your social media, yeah. I mean, they'll come at you for everything. You're short, you're blah, blah, blah. You know, they'll knock you for anything. Yeah. How do you have that to say, hey, get out?
One, like when you got to have a sense of humor about yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to love
I've
yourself.
Always like, you know, I've always like, you know, I had a good sense of humor. But two, like I won't take critique from anybody. I won't take advice from.
Most definitely.
Like, you know, am I going to listen to the guy that has a like?
You're not going to listen to me because I know nothing about it. You know, I don't know anything about sparring or fighting or anything. So, you know, why?
So, like, yeah, like, but, you know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Like, yes, like, and sometimes somebody's going to say something out of pocket that gets under your skin, but
it will.
But here's the thing, like, that's what they want. Like,
correct. They want to dive deep in there.
Like, for me, like, I consider, like, I'm not going to let anybody live rent-free in my head, especially that I don't like.
I love that.
For me, like, I think, like, I think I'm a good person. I think I'm a great person to know. I think I'm a great person to be friends with. Like, you know, I think my time, energy, and anything that I'm putting into somebody is valuable.
Oh, 100%.
So I am not going to waste a second of that on somebody that I don't like
that you don't even know.
Yeah, don't know, don't like, or even if I don't like, you know, people that I don't like, I just cut you off.
Yeah.
Like having access to me, I think is a benefit. If
100%.
Like, so why am I going to waste a second of energy on somebody that like
I think that speaks volume, and I think to get to that state in yourself, you have to love yourself. You've been through a lot.
Because it's definitely hard.
And I could tell just by your tone, the way you present yourself, how you walked in here, you love yourself as an individual. And no matter what I say, you still love yourself. And it doesn't matter what I say because you love yourself. And I think if people truly love themselves, and that goes back to that mental health, they truly love themselves, they're not going to worry about letting all that little chatter affect them.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like it's hard to get to that point because
It's hard.
Like
it's difficult.
Yeah, like you know, somebody says something, you want to respond.
Oh, most definitely.
Like,
and
you know,
I mean, let's talk about the press conferences. Yeah. You know, these press conferences are really, in my opinion, I've watched them, especially Connor's. You know how he likes to go crazy. But these press conferences are to get in your head. Your opponent is there to talk trash, to get the crowd riled up, the energy, everyone yelling, and to get in your head mentally and try to control you mentally. Yeah. That's what they all for.
Yeah.
And if you love yourself, you're not even going to think about it. You're just going to sit there and daydream about something. I mean, I would, you know, just to zone it out.
Like, you know, everything I've been through in life, like, you know, you can't even hurt my feelings.
Yeah. They're not even going to come close.
Like, you can like, you know.
You can try, but you're not going to come close.
You're welcome to try to hurt me in the fight, but you ain't going to hurt my feelings and you ain't going to break me mentally. After everything I've been through in life, like, you know.
I know.
Like, you know, like one of the biggest, like, mental things that I had to go through, like, when I was in the Marines was, like, you know, I lost one of my guys.
I'm sorry about
that. I was in charge of, like, it was my job to bring him home.
That's deep.
Like, and then the next day, guess what I had to do?
Don't even
go on patrol and do the same thing that we were doing.
Ooh.
The very next day, we went in the same spot. Like, you know, like tears are streaming down my face. Like, you know,
mentally, you're playing that back. I bet too.
Yep. Oh yeah. Like
walking that same spot. It just happened the day before. You're mentally
still blood on the street.
Ooh.
Like, so the next day, like, I had to do the same thing. Like, we're on patrol. We're in the same spot. We dismount and get, like, I'm standing there and just, like, any second, like, you know.
You're on high alert.
I'll hear the, like, you know, I'll hear the round, and then I couldn't feel nothing.
Oh, my. What type of terrain is that?
We're in the city.
You're in the city?
Yeah.
Oh, so you got buildings, things like that. You don't know where someone's at.
360-degree battlefield.
You are walking in the city and you got buildings, windows, roofs. You don't know where anyone can pop their head out and just boom. Or even a sniper, you know, from far away.
That's what it was. It was
a sniper.
It was a sniper attack.
Probably from blocks away.
Like if you've seen American Sniper, the movie.
Love that movie.
That was who I was operating with. Like, we were in Ramadi the same time as Chris Kyle.
No way.
Like, we did a lot of their insertions and extractions.
Bullshit.
Like Jocko, all those guys. Like, we were in the city at the same time.
No, that movie's intense.
Yeah, like a lot of, like, you know, they took liberties with certain stuff. Yeah. Like, but the sniper that they're talking about in that, like, Chris Kyle didn't kill that sniper. Mm-hmm. Like, that RPG shot.
I remember.
It messed with the timetable because it just made a more fitting movie.
Yeah,
like, I understand. Like,
it sucks you in. You gotta get it.
But like he did that shot, but that wasn't like
that wasn't actually.
Like the sniper that they were actually hunting, they wound up dropping a bomb on a building and killed him. But that was the one.
But you were in that area.
That was the guy that got my guy.
No way. That's. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. So that is wild.
That's one of the reasons why, like, you know, like, these guys can't break me mentally.
Oh no, you're fucking unless there's I don't know what to say to that. Unless you're dropped in the middle there, there's no way you're breaking that mindset. So experiencing all of that on high alert, you know, surrounding yourself 360 degrees plus blocks away, not knowing there's a sniper down the road. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's wild. Have you ever had or with your team, were you ever stuck in a position where you guys slept in those areas overnight?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time. And someone's posting up, you know, 24/7, you know, basically security of the team, and you guys are sleeping there.
Go 50%.
Wow, really? Mm-hmm. That is unbelievable. Yeah, there's no breaking that mindset. No breaking that mindset, especially getting that out of your mind mentally. Unbelievable. Wow. All right. So when it comes to, you know, really cultivating all of that, your health and everything, you know, how long do you see yourself in bare knuckle?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the organization?
Absolutely. Like, they've been great to me. Like, they've really embraced me. Like, like they gave me like big opportunities where a lot of organizations weren't. Like, at one point I had gotten signed by the PFL and then never even got to fight for him.
Really?
Because the guy refused to fight me.
He just refused to fight you. He said, "No, I'm not fighting him." So they didn't get a backup to fight you?
No, like I was the backup.
Oh, you were the backup, but he was like,
yeah,
"No, we're
because
not
they
fighting
do
you."
the tournament mines. Like they do the tournament. I was going to be a replacement.
Yeah.
Like, no, get somebody else.
Well, he was afraid he's gonna lose.
Mm-hmm. And he wound up winning the whole $1 million tournament.
Oh, really?
Yep.
He was afraid he's gonna lose.
Yep. I guess it was a smart move on his play.
It's a business move.
But yeah.
Pick and choose, I guess.
But then they never they never signed me, never got me another fight. So like BKFC, like they.
Are you your
they've
own
embraced-
agent? Like NBA,
No,
NFL, at your level, you're the champion. Do you have an agent? Do you normally go through,
yeah.
what's that look like?
I got a management team that I work with. Actually, although I'm in transition right now.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of them, good ones, bad ones. More money. Some take more than others. Things like that.
Yep. But they they negotiate the deals. Big thing like getting those sponsorship deals, stuff like that. Like that's a big.
That's the big thing. And are they? I assume they're helping out getting those sponsorships, or that's all on you.
No, that's the big thing that really like. Especially right now with like the way that everything's set for me, like negotiating contracts with the BKFC isn't one that like doesn't it, like I'm good for like a year or two.
Yeah,
like it doesn't require a ton of work, and
it's taken care of.
Pretty, it's a pretty easy cut and dry thing in most cases.
Yeah.
Like like that's like so finding sponsorship deals, negotiating sponsorship deals, like that's the biggest thing that like really like I need management for and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and especially because like I don't like having those discussions like with like potential because I would like to be friendly with them.
Correct.
Like
because that's business.
Like basically I'm
100%.
Like I would rather pay somebody else to be the jerk.
Yeah, no, and like, I'm not saying I'm a jerk, but I enjoy that type of business.
Yeah.
where we're negotiating contracts. Just like you like being in that ring. I like being behind the table negotiating these contracts.
Like,
it is a fight.
Like, and that's
it's the Hunger Games at the end of the day because you can get screwed. You can get screwed with attorneys. You can get screwed overall, and then you can have everything tumble.
Yeah.
Everything tumble if you don't negotiate those contracts properly. And it all comes down to words too. If you have a different word in there, it can be broad, it could be narrow. And, depending on the sentences, you could be bankrupt or you can be a billionaire. It all depends on how you get granular with those type of contracts.
And that's like, like it's the same like, with fighting and stuff like that.
Most definitely.
What makes it exciting is the stakes. Like
that,
there's got to be something. There's got to be
something.
There's got to be some chips in the table.
Correct.
For you to get like for
it has
to
to
mean
be worth
something.
it. It has to be worth it. All that training, all that fighting, because you're putting your body through highly stressful, situations. Both eating right, your time management of the sleep regimens you're on, all of that. It has to be worth something. Which I don't blame you. So when it comes to the business side of things, and if you can talk about it, does bare knuckle operate on a per fight basis, and then you get bonuses, things like that, just like how UFC does it?
Like it varies per fighter, like especially because they've got like a lot like they have like a new crop coming in because they're still building their roster like especially with like how many fights they have like. And where all the places that they're going now. Like
I had Taylor on here and she said something about Spain, and I was like, "Wow, you guys are popular in Spain."
They're getting ready to have their first events there.
That's cool.
They started working in conjunction with other organizations in Japan, like
so they're really going
Abu
international.
Dhabi, they're like
I can definitely see Abu Dhabi.
They've already had they've already had been to Thailand. They just were in Mexico.
Anywhere you want to go?
Really, like my biggest my biggest fight
location
that I want to
really
go
want to have
is Japan.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like I really want to fight in Japan. Like I'm a big
What
anime
makes you?
nerd.
Oh, that's why.
Like I'm a big anime nerd. Like just and just like their fight culture. Like it was where Pride started. Like like they hold a lot of reverence for fighters.
So it's a lot of history there.
Yeah, there's a lot of history. Like like their culture is always embraced. Like that kind of
Sport.
that kind of sport, that mindset. Like just looks like such an interesting place. Like so clean and just
most
like,
definitely. The technology there
Yep,
is so
technology.
advanced. I want to go there and have some food.
Plus they're a little weird too. Like
they're
they're
a
a
little
little weird. Like
Yeah.
they have like penny vending machines and stuff like that.
It's like what?
like what? Like what? Like,
They're a little strange.
I don't make the connection
Yeah.
like sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think like because they're so like strategic and like focus minded and like also like sometimes and like some repressed. Like they gotta.
I know.
It comes out in weird ways.
Very strange. I mean, you see all that on social media and stuff like that, and you're just like, you're questioning it. Like, that's definitely not going to fly here in the South. We're not going to put up with that.
Plus, I want to go on one of those crazy Japanese game shows while I'm there.
Oh, are you?
Like one of those weird ones. Like,
you should. That'd be cool. So what got you into anime?
actually, it was the Marine I lost.
Oh, really?
I was always been like I was a fan of Dragon Ball Z growing up and stuff like that. But he introduced me to like he kind of forced the whole unit to watch Naruto DVDs.
Oh, really?
Like because when we're not on patrol and stuff like that, like we had one big TV. A couple of people had like the portable DVD players and stuff like that.
Oh, did they?
But he started popping those Naruto DVDs onto.
And so everyone had to watch it.
So like we were all watching it, and we all got really into it, and then just spiraled from there. Like especially and that's just like one of the things that I got like a connection, like one of my connections to him still.
I love that.
Like Naruto and stuff like that.
I love that.
But and it's just I think like a ton of fighters are into it. Just like like we want to be like, superheroes and superhuman and stuff like that. And like being fighters is the closest that we can get. Like
most definitely, like Iron Man.
I don't know any fighter that hasn't tried to go Super Saiyan at least once.
Oh, I bet.
Just screaming in a room, just trying to. Like right now, I got Naruto edition shoes on too.
There you go. I like it. I think that adrenaline rush too. Just it makes you feel that way.
And like they're always about like overcoming like unsurmountable odds and stuff like that.
The impossible that everyone and most people don't believe in them. They're always hating on them, and it's just overcoming that huge objection that everyone is looking at them with. Wild, love it. Perfect. Well, Keith, hey, a wealth of knowledge. I definitely appreciate you. Good luck on that next fight. It's in Hollywood, so I may come down, support you. I would love to.
Come on, it's gonna be a great night.
I can't wait for you to win.
Neither can I. I want to get that sweet moment. I want to eat some food, and then I'm gonna be ready to do it again. This layoff's been killing me.
Has it?
Yeah.
How before we wrap things up, how long's that training camp that you have?
This one's been a couple of months. Usually I was doing a lot of short notice fight stuff like that because like I said it doesn't really matter to me. The biggest thing is I need to just the diet and getting my weight down and stuff like that.
Most definitely.
The more time I have, the easier I can make that transition.
And so you have that.
My training regimen doesn't change a ton.
It's just a diet.
A lot of times I actually train less in training camp because I don't have to do I stopped doing a lot of the grappling and stuff like that, and I just pick up the intensity.
Got it. So when it comes to the weigh-ins, you have weigh-ins on Friday, press conference on Thursday, weigh-ins on Friday, and then after that you can eat, or they still weigh you before the fight.
No, as soon as the weigh-ins are done,
you can go and.
Yep, we're cleared to go ham.
There you go.
And then they a lot of times they'll reweigh us before just because they're trying to get a lot of data You know,
Oh, so they want to see data.
They're
how quick you came back, or what?
Yeah,
what
like
weight?
how many, like how much weight people are cutting, how much like how much they're rehydrating.
They're big into watching your health.
Yeah, like they're doing like all kinds of like scientific research. Like they're also like taking all the medical data and stuff like that. Like that's why they're right now they're like a lot of the data shows that like bare knuckle is safer than regular boxing. And
No way.
MMA. Yeah.
Well, well,
Like,
we're not.
they're-
I thought we were going to finish here. We're not going to finish here. So tell me more. Why is that?
One shorter rounds, less rounds, but like they're a ton like, and they're not talking about like that's excluding like surface abrasions, cuts.
Okay, I was gonna
'Cause,
say.
yeah, there's a ton of cuts, like but as far as like the concussion dangers and stuff like that,
It's less.
yeah, it's less like one because like when you're hitting somebody with a padded glove, like you can swing away all
As
you
hard
want,
as you
'cause
can.
Like with bare knuckle, everything hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts to hit them. and it
Every
hurts
time you make that contact.
it hurts to hit them, and it hurts to get hit. Like in a lot of cases, like you see guys like they can physically probably get up, but they've had enough. Like
They're just their
like,
body's like, I'm
but,
done.
Like with boxing, it's just with a padded glove, you can swing it like a little bit harder, and it's more like it's not the impact. Like the impact with like bare knuckle is a little bit more stiff, but it doesn't shake the brain as much. That's like with
Interesting. Is it because of that padding?
like it's the twisting like of the brain and stuff like that. Like that causes
that
a lot of
repetition with the padding, huh?
like that causes like TBI and stuff like that.
Really?
It's not necessarily the impact; it's the shaking and like twisting of the brain.
Interesting. And that is worse with the gloves and using that compared to bare
plus
knuckle.
like they go 10, 12 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Like you can't do that bare knuckle. Like when the cuts,
You're not going to be able to last.
Yeah,
like
cuts,
I mean, that's like killing
yeah.
someone. Like
Yeah.
you just can't.
Yeah, so like with that like people have repetitive like if you get dropped you can get back up like
100%.
Like if you're fighting like you get dropped in the first 2 rounds, you're fighting with a mild concussion like or mild or major and you're just like 10 like
You're just
8
going.
more rounds of that like
You can. Yeah.
like it's
brutal.
yeah like but it doesn't seem as much just because bare knuckle is definitely the bloodiest sport right now.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, look at Taylor's picture.
Yeah, but now swelling and cuts heal in week and a half.
I've seen
2
some
weeks.
of your pictures.
Yeah.
Some of your
Yeah.
pictures
Oh,
with
yeah, like-
big bowl, big your cheekbone and all that.
Yeah. But
I mean, I see it right now.
Yeah, a week or 2 though, like, and it's mostly
good.
healed. Yeah, there might be some scars, like now I got.
But that comes with the industry.
Like I didn't get in here to get a modeling contract.
I know, right?
Yeah, and I think it makes me look rugged and distinguished.
There you go. Well, you have a modeling contract. You go out and skinny shorts and a cage.
Calvin Klein, baby.
There you go. Get them to sponsor you. I like it. Well, Keith, I thought I was going to wrap things up earlier, but I really I enjoy our conversations, and I'm excited to have you back, with future episodes. But I want to appreciate you coming on, and I want to appreciate your service to make sure that, we're staying safe over here and everything you've done. I appreciate that and everything you've been through, watching us and making sure that we're safe here in this country. So I appreciate that. And good luck in that fight. I'll coordinate with you, see how I can get down there and support you in person.
All right, sounds good, brother. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chris Salerno Show. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insight to help you along your journey. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to cover, feel free to reach out directly to me. Shoot me a message on Instagram at Chris_Salerno_. Until next time, keep pushing forward and stay inspired.